Jeff Keighley announced on Twitter that viewership was up 83% this year, 83 million live streams of the Game Awards. Let's put this in perspective here. There was 1.9 million live streams back in 2014. 1.9 in 2014 versus 83 million in 2020. That is unbelievable growth. They had over 8.3 million peak concurrent viewers, 2.63 million peak concurrent viewers on Twitch, double last year. Watch time up over 129% across Twitch, YouTube, and Facebook gaming, and over 9,000 co-streamers on Twitch, myself and Vince included. I will admit, I think this year was a little bit of a down year as far as like overall like megaton announcements go, but I thought it was like a really well paced with like a lot of good announcements peppered through, right?
I think he's hitting his stride.
Yeah. Did you guys overall like the vibe this year?
Yeah. This was the first time I watched it in actuality. And I was like, okay, no, because I mean, I always heard that. I always heard like the show is too long or it's paced too weird or like, oh, this is so boring. And I was like, oh, this is actually moving pretty quick. I kind of like this.
Yeah, it was very quickly paced.
I could have done without the Game Awards for years has always been the fact that Jeff didn't seem to know what kind of show that he wanted to do. He didn't know if it wanted to be a variety hour. He didn't know if we wanted to be an award show or become just like a basic thing of E3. And I think now he's finally found the sweet spot of what it is. And what it is it's an E3 game announcement is what it is. Featuring awards.
Right.
Yeah,
which
I think
works perfectly. Yeah. That's how you get people there because they're going to be hyped for what's next, not necessarily for what has already come.
Right.
Like I agree. I think he was definitely trying to hit that, typical the Grammys, the Oscars type, vibe, but including some, different video game-esque elements that you don't get in other industries. But I agree. I think he had to finally, figure out what he wanted to be. I think I could have done with less Whooper watches. And
or the Instagram filters and all that,
and less Team Ellie, Team Abby stuff.
But will be coming up later in the show.
But I mean, overall, I think it was really good. Sans a drunk rant about the Oscars. I think it was one of the best years he's had.
Definitely. I agree. It was a solid year, and I do like that it went by in 3 hours as opposed to 4.5 hours. Let's talk about the awards real quick. Last of Us Part 2 sweeped almost. It had 10 nominations. It won 7 of them. Game of the Year, Best Game Direction, Best Narrative, Best Audio Design, Best Action Adventure, Best Performance for Laura Bailey, and Innovation and Accessibility. Was it deserved?
Not if you ask true gamers.
Yeah.
I think Tom might say not. Vince and I are going to say yes.
Well, I think so for sure. But at the same time, this is a thing that I kind of also slightly agree with Tom in a way from what I've heard from what Tom has explained. Mm-hmm. The hard part right now is we're in this really volatile industry state. And what sucks here is that Last of Us is kind of like this. The game dealt with so much hate, like Mike said, from all these true gamers that like you kind of almost want it to win because the other game that wasn't there. Right. It's the hard thing, but at the same time, it's like, does that take away from actually like should it have won those certain things? There's a lot of things I think it definitely should have won.
Say a game like Hades.
But see, yeah, it's weird. It's a weird thing. I have other thoughts on that too, but I think for sure out of all of those 7. Yes, I think it definitely needs to win a lot of those. The game direction one is definitely one that you could probably have a good discussion about if it really deserved it or not, And it's hard because at the same time, that game direction, when the game was releasing, also dealt with so much backlash in a way that it was like you kind of almost needed it to win to kind of refute all that type of stuff. It sucks. It's a really bad spot to be in, I think.
Yeah, Tom, do you really quickly want to say like your feelings on the best game direction category and why The Last of Us Part 2 in your mind shouldn't have won that?
Well, look, this was all going to be partially what I was going to bring up later in the show. So I don't know if I want to necessarily say it here. Maybe I'll say it here that way.
Preview.
I'll preview it. Look, at the end of the day, I know that I know that certain people, even on this panel, will disagree with what direction we'll say. And I think on the Game Awards website, the direction category is specifically listed as creative design, as well as directing the game, generally speaking. So if Druckmann himself was just the director, I could understand those points. The problem is that Druckmann is also the vice president of Naughty Dog. So he is personally able to affect how that game was made. And yet he didn't do anything about that. So I think that of anybody there, he has a direct control of how that game is made from start to finish. And the fact that he needed to go to the extent of having to go into crunch that was described by some workers as being soul-crushing, like, then yeah, I have a problem with giving that guy the direction award, because then it's essentially you're just rewarding somebody for doing something that we all, I think, universally agree is a blight on the industry.
Right. No, I don't disagree with that. I think it's a little bit more nuanced, and maybe we can talk about it later. But just to round out some other big awards that happened, Ghost of Tsushima got Best Art Direction. Hades got Best Action. A lot of people really enjoyed Hades, of course. And Among Us, even though it did not come out this year, won both of Best Mobile and Best Indie. So those are some really nice awards.
I love them, and I love how humbled they were. I don't love it just for the sheer fact of any other year, and the same issue we've always had is it didn't come out this year. And I just really don't know how I feel about that, because on one hand, it's actually more deserved than most of the others in that category. But at the same time, again, it didn't come out this year. Nobody heard of it, and I get that, and it sucks to be an indie game in that aspect. But like, I don't know, man. What are we gonna do? Go back and be like, you know, it was really good. That I love Spelunky. Let's give that an award next year.
Yeah,
it's a little bit.
I have all for giving Spelunky some.
I want to flip this back on to you then, there, because then that's the problem I have kind of with Hades being here. Hades released in early access in 2018.
Early access was the disclaimer, and that's always the difference. Is that if it was early access, I listen. This is my personal justification, and this is, I think, where they will go in with all of it. Early access does change a lot in terms of what it is. Plus, don't forget, it was Epic Game Store exclusive. Then it became available on every platform. And it was actually changed by that point. So I do get what you're saying.
2018 on Steam early access.
No, it was Epic Game Store exclusive as a free game first, and then as a exclusive to Epic Game Store for almost the entire year.
Right in the fake fans.
But to that point, then let's just get rid of Among Us then, because Among Us shouldn't have been available for any award, because that was a mobile game back in 2020.
That's what we're discussing.
That was the point of what I was saying. Is like, I don't know how I feel about that, because honestly, like, I do feel that best mobile game, in my opinion, should have gone to Genshin Impact. As much as, you know, it's a gacha game and everything like that. Yeah. It definitely, they did change what I think a lot of people will view as not only a mobile game but even a gacha game.
Turns out gamers really love their husbandos and their waifus.
They do. Right. Let's get into the premieres and announcements, because there were some big ones. We're actually going to treat this as each of us brought three announcements, premieres from the Game Awards that we thought were worth discussing, even if like they're not coming out anytime soon, or maybe we're not that excited about it. Maybe we just thought, oh, this needs to be talked about, right? So I'm going to start off here. I don't even play Smash Brothers. You guys know this, but that Sephiroth reveal needs to be discussed, because holy crap, man!
Needs to be discussed.
What a great cutscene! What a great trailer! Because they're all great. Don't be wrong. Super Smash Brothers, they do such a great job with getting people hyped up with their character reveals. But as a huge 7 Remake fan now, the way this was all directed, the way they poked fun with the references of Advent Children, like, shall I give Smash despair? I was
going to say, the reason why you love the direction of this trailer is the fact that your favorite movie is Advent Children Complete.
Well, that's not true at all. But let's be honest, the Advent Children movies aren't great. They're just great fan service. But I did really appreciate all the references, and the impalement of Mario, or at least what everybody thought was the impalement of Mario at that one moment, was one of the best moments I've ever seen in one of these like jokey trailers. And I've watched so many reactions now at this point of that moment, and they are all great. They're absolutely fantastic. And as I posted on Discord, this is like one of the best performing videos we've ever had on YouTube as far as like the dislike. I think that shows not just that we had a great reaction, but like everybody really appreciated this moment, and even if you weren't a Final Fantasy VII fan. But anyway, Mike, what is your first one you want to bring in here?
For my stories. So we're going to talk about Back for Blood, which we knew was coming, kind of officially, unofficially, talked about. But it's a spiritual successor to Left 4 Dead. And man, is it that game and then more. Back for Blood is a thrilling co-op first-person shooter from the creators of Left 4 Dead, which is why it was, so close to it. You're at the center of a war against the Ridden, which are what the zombies are called. These once human hosts of a deadly parasite have turned into terrifying creatures bent on devouring what remains of civilization. With humanity's extinction on the line, it's up to you and your friends to take off the fight to the enemy, eradicate the Ridden, and reclaim the world. It is 4-person, just like Left 4 Dead was. Has a story campaign. Will have competitive multiplayer, which is a weird new thing they're adding, as well as a roguelike mode, which is one of the ones I'm really excited for. Vince has played some of the alpha. I didn't get a chance to get into it. And I won't before the alpha is done, but I've seen a lot of gameplay, and this game is really hitting those marks 100%, and I am dying to jump in.
Vince, I'm very curious, real quick. What's your feelings,
guys? We have to play it all together at one point.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, 100%.
No, seriously, guys. Really quick here. Thank you so much to Johnny Poolside, because he's the one who did this for me last night for my last stream of the year. And guys, oh my God, even for an alpha, I'm extremely.
It's in
really
good shape.
It's in really good shape. I had so much fun with it. The roguelike mode is their card deck building. So the thing is about the thing about with Left 4 Dead is it would kind of randomly change its difficulty. That's what it was. So the game director in this
system and all that.
The game director does the same thing here, but it plays corruption cards in each individual checkpoint break to make your game more difficult. But then every player has a card that they can put down into that can change everything. So say for me, I found one of my cards was all your secondaries have unlimited ammo. So for me, I was sitting there just running around with just a single hand cannon, because I was like, I don't need to have a primary. It's just but what was crazy then is someone put team stamina, team ammo, team grenades. Everything just started going crazy, and it was crazy. The very first match I had so many zombies. The second match, not so much. It was really interesting. I'm really looking forward to it.
That's exciting. Continuing with Vince, what is the first announcement that you want to bring here?
I'm going to save the last one here. I'm going to go with the Crimson Desert.
Well, no, go in order, just because I have the videos in order.
You have the okay, fine, it's whatever. Disco Elysium, the final cut announced. See, he messed it up, guys. He messed it up for me. It's fine. It's fine, guys. No,
they're in order of how they were revealed during the show.
Oh, okay, I got you. I didn't realize that. I'm sorry, I misread that.
Yeah, so Disco Elysium, you were the only one here that played that game.
Yes, I played the game. It was after the Game Awards last year. I was like, wait, why has this game got 4 awards? What did I miss? And I couldn't finish it on stream because it was a lot of reading. Mike and I talked about that really quickly at one point. But its music, its gameplay, its whole entire design the story is utterly fantastic. Yeah. Anyone who is interested in a visual novel-esque type deal with a very deep dice roll RPG mechanic with some extremely fantastic writing, play this game.
And not traditional turn-based RPG mechanics that you're thinking of. It is not, you're going to slash
it's skill
for,
checks.
5 points. It's
skill checks.
And a fun fact, before this year, Last of Us now has the record for most awards won at the Game Awards. Last year, Disco Elysium set the record with 4. Yep. So it was a very appreciated game. Even though a lot of people did not play it, it was a very appreciated game last year. Yeah. So everybody keep that in mind. Tom, what is your first announcement you want to bring here?
My first announcement is the announcement that The Initiative, one of the studios mentioned by Microsoft as joining their elite squad of first-party developers. I'm trying to think. I was about to make a political joke, but I'm not. But apparently they are making a new Perfect Dark. Joanna Dark is back.
You telling me the rumors for the last 2 years are true?
The rumors are true.
The rumors are true.
It looks
Oh, yeah.
so weird though.
I mean, it's so weird that this is the game that they're working on, but also, I mean, Microsoft has the IP now, so why not?
Yeah, right.
yeah.
I mean,
You know
they
what,
didn't
and-
do anything with it for a long time.
And look, I'd be completely interested. I'm very interested to see how they're going to do this. If it's going to be just a generic first-person shooter, or if it's going to try and play a little bit with how Rare did theirs. I mean, I don't know. Like, it's so tough for me because I remember in thinking of Perfect Dark and just playing GoldenEye, and I'm like, I look back and I'm like, do I really want to go back to like playing it in jank controls? I never played Perfect Dark Zero, so don't
You
even
do
ask
not.
me about that.
I'm going to tell you right now, you do not.
Yeah, I mean,
You
and
do
look,
not play it.
and look, and your level beyond that is just going to be like, how invested are you in the Perfect Dark story? Which
Yeah.
I don't know too many people who are like really like, oh, I wonder what Elvis and Joanna are up to right now.
Right, like I'll be honest, this might as well
what's
be its
going on with
own.
the war between the aliens of the
Right.
Greys and the lizard men.
This might as well be its own IP. You know, from looking at what they showed for the trailers versus what has happened in Perfect Dark years ago, and how old the franchise is, and how little people have cared about it, besides just wanting a good version of it, not what you got at the 360. So you might as well just go into this expecting a brand new game from a very good, talented studio using the name of an IP.
I mean, it's got like Dust Bowl apocalypse, like Interstellar vibes.
Yeah,
so I was like,
right,
the thing
like-
what is going on
that
here?
this is supposed to be a very eco-forward game story. Like they're trying to get really into climate change and the corporations and everything else like that. So, I mean, I'm interested to see where they go with it, but I'm not expecting anything deep and dark. I just
They
want
said it's very early. Let's not forget that either.
It
Even
is
though it
very
feels like they've been
early.
working on it for years, it's very
I'm
early.
just because first-person shooters, like, there's not too much innovation going on with those these days. I'm very interested to see like where they actually decide to take this.
Yeah, definitely. It was just a CGI reveal trailer, so there's not a lot to talk about there. But
See you in
we
6 years.
Yeah,
Yes.
see you in at least a couple of years, right? Moving on to my second announcement, I want to talk about Open Roads. I took the indie route here, guys, with the next two.
You did.
Open Roads was announced. It is described as a mother-daughter road trip adventure with a unique dialogue system. Deborah will play 16-year-old Tess Devine, while Russell's character will be named Opal. According to a news release issued on Thursday, the narrative will discover what has been left behind in evocative places forgotten to time. When I say Russell and Deborah, that is because it is Kerry Russell and God, what's her name? She was
Oh, what's her face?
Cassie in Uncharted. And she's a great actress. I like her a lot. Caitlin Dever. There it is.
There you
Caitlin Dever will be playing the 16-year-old Tess Devine. So great cast right off the bat there. Really great cast. But what's most interesting to me is that this is like a mystery that you're uncovering, because this is done by Fulbright. Let me pause the video here. This is done by Fulbright, the same ones that did Gone Home and what was that one in space, guys? Somebody help me out here.
Among Us.
Tacoma. Among
sorry.
Us.
Among Us, yes.
Tacoma. So they have definitely a vibe, and I really, Gone Home was one of my favorite indie games of this generation. I love that game, and knowing that this one is again sort of about like uncovering a mystery, sort of the way Gone Home was uncovering a mystery of like what happened to this girl, where did she go? I really like that. It's got like a family drama, so it kind of reminds me of What Remains of Edith Finch as well.
Yeah.
So Gone Home, Edith Finch, two of my favorite indie games of the entire generation, and now Fulbright is doing Open Roads with a great cast of characters. Yes, sign me up. I am there. Mike, your second announcement. What is it?
Big one. Dragon Age is announced. There's no 4. There's no subtitle. That's
Well,
the story.
we knew Dragon Age, right? Because when did they actually show off Dragon Age for the first time?
When did they show it off?
Game
Yeah.
Awards, eh?
Last year,
Last
right? I
year.
thought so.
Yeah.
So-
When it was the
in a whole
rogue
year-
announcement.
All we've gotten is another CGI trailer that, I'll be completely honest, had a really strange vibe for me.
Right? It was very
Fable.
Yes,
yeah.
it was kind of Fable. I agree.
Yeah.
There was a
Yeah,
weird
Play
humor
like a
to
tongue
it.
in cheek type
Yeah.
thing.
It's like, am I watching a
100%.
Shrek trailer here?
I'm right there with you. I watched this and I'm like, is this Fable? Like, are they really about to just give us a Fable trailer? And then all of a sudden the Dragon Age title card comes up and I'm like,
Imagine if they
okay.
combined the studios.
Yeah.
Fable.
Dragon Age
Dragon
Fable.
Fable.
Dragon Fable, yes.
Or the Fable Age.
Fable Dragon.
Fable Age.
Yeah, I mean, there was nothing here, and I jokingly, say a line and I'll stop, but like, there really isn't anything here. There was no title. announced with it. It is just Dragon Age, almost like it's going to be slightly rebooted after Inquisition. There's no 4, which also kind of
New font style too.
New font style. But I will say right now, I don't think that studio knows what the hell they're doing. They don't have a leader, or at least one that we know of that we can trust in anymore. I don't think you should put your eggs in this basket at all. I think you're better off carrying them by hand to another franchise, and waiting to be shown something that you can believe in, because this is just a big giant puff of fart smelling smoke.
Well, there you have it. Vince, what is your number 2?
As is another game we will be talking about from BioWare soon.
This was really weird because we had the Dragon Age announcement, and then we had this game come out. Crimson Desert is revealed. This is made by Pearl Abyss developers, who, if you don't know who that is the Black Desert Online developers. And this game had more dragons in its trailer than Dragon Age did.
A lot more dragons, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
What a crazy trailer. What a crazy trailer. I mean, this
like
game
5.5 minutes long.
5.5 minutes long. They have a commented director's commentary trailer now on the website for this.
Really?
It's ridiculous.
I'm actually going to watch that because I'm really invested
in this.
And
they talk about it. They literally just go into their game design saying, like, yeah, we want to make sure we can do this. We want to do this with the combat. We want to have all these action sequences.
Have they set a tentative date yet?
Next year.
Next year, which
I do not believe.
No way.
No way.
There's no way it's going to.
I don't know, man. They did Black Desert as almost like not early access, but they did it early to where it developed over time. So,
but what's crazy is that they actually just are now self-publishing now. So this company has had massive growth. They no longer are using Keiko Games as the distributor for Black Desert Online. They're going all in on this. So I mean, look at this dragon. I'm a little bit delayed here, but the dragon combat, like, it's ridiculous.
Well, they're also getting really they did really well when they went to mobile. Black Desert went on mobile devices, and it did really well overseas in China, if I remember right. So I mean, I'm not surprised by this at all. I think they're making bank. I think they have the ability to do it, and I would not be surprised at all if it hits next year, because they're going to release it in a either good or decent state, and then they're just going to improve on it from there.
That's a possibility for sure. Tom, what is your number 2 announcement?
My number 2 announcement is the Callisto Protocol. I was about to say the Castillo. Different thing. Sebastian Castellanos. So Striking Distance. And if you don't know who Striking Distance is, they are made up of former members of Visceral, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. Guys who made Dead Space. They are making the Callisto Protocol. The studio head, Glenn Schofield, as soon as I saw Glenn on screen, I just yelled, "It's Glenn!" He came onto the stream to say that the development team was aiming to make one of the scariest games ever. Now, you guys, I think I've pretty much established it at this point that I am an extremely big survival horror fan. Dead Space was one of my favorite games ever. Both 1 and 2, and that is it. The only games that they made in the entire series.
Thank you, Tom. Thank you, Tom.
Those were fantastic experiences. And I watched this trailer, and I'm like, okay. I was like, what is this? I'm like, it's very much like kind of like The Thing.
Yeah.
Is it? And then all of a sudden, Glenn pops up, and I'm like, oh no, it's these guys are making a spiritual successor to Dead Space.
When you saw that thing on the back of his neck, that should have been the first hint, right? Yes. That they're going to have some type of UI that's built into the character design or the armor or something like that. But when I saw that, I was almost
they had in that entire series was the fact that the HUD was part of your character, and that you didn't have anything else like obstructing your vision or bothering you. Which, I mean, you saw it then in Resident Evil 4, Resident Evil 7, where they just completely removed the HUD for the most part, except for like very, very tiny things for you to see. So
when they showed that during the trailer, honestly, for me, it was like they might as well just call this Dead Space 4, because clearly they're making like Dead Space. It's just they're going to change the monsters and
I cannot be happy.
You know what's funnier about this whole project?
What's funny about that, Vince?
It's tied to PUBG.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's an actual extension of like, what is it, a few centuries ahead of where PUBG is at. Like, I'm like, this is interesting, because Striking Distance was made for single player PUBG experiences, I guess. So the fact
Yeah,
they got
it's one of
this
those
whole
things where
idea-
it's like it doesn't matter to anybody really. Like it's just
Right.
like a cool thing to know. It's kind of like how Final Fantasy 7 and 10 are connected, but it's like it doesn't matter, but it's cool to know.
Except that the long-standing talk is that PUBG is looking to reboot itself, and the theory now has come out that it will actually be tied to this futuristic area that they've set for this game.
Well, we'll have to wait and see if that actually comes to fruition. My number 3 announcement, once again, sticking with the more indie stuff from the show. Season was a game announced for PS5 during
That
the
game's
Game
gonna make me
Awards.
cry. I'm gonna say it right now.
This visually, man, this game looked stellar. It comes from developer Scavenger Studios, who worked on the Darwin project, described as a third-person atmospheric adventure bicycle road trip game. You play as a young woman exploring the world for the first time after previously living in a secluded village. Players will record the last moments of different cultures before they're washed away by a cataclysmic event. You are not there to stop the change, but to bear witness to it. To make recordings and attempt to understand what is being lost before it's gone. It's like making a time capsule, deciding what would capture the spirit of the time period and carry it onward. So you are witnessing the apocalypse and there's no way to stop it.
People are saying that this is the best bicycle game since Paperboy.
There's not too many
Nice.
of them that I could think of, but that's it's a nice award to win. But man, the visuals, there's something about it, man. It has sort of like a journey, like flower type vibe to it. Reminds me of Hayao Miyazaki films with the music that's going on. It just, and the somber atmosphere of it, knowing now what it's going to be about, it just really makes it even more impactful to me because I love a game that can hit me on an emotional level. So yeah, this one I'm keeping an eye on.
I just was funny how for me, whenever we were watching this live, Drew, and that first piano note that came in, I was like, I'm in. Like,
Kind of reminded me of Breath of the Wild too, how that that opening piano number. But yeah, definitely looking forward to that one as well. Mike, what is your final announcement you want to talk about?
Oh man, this was almost on the high that I had for the Sephiroth unveiling. Fortnite has unveiled their next of their new characters. On the back of Kratos, they showed off Master Chief DLC for Fortnite. And man, the way they did it was just so good. Not only did we get Master Chief and his awesomeness in Fortnite, but they also used Red versus Blue to intro it, and hearing Sarge and Caboose, and just man, I am honestly intending to go back and watch the first few seasons of Red vs. Blue again after that, because I haven't done it in years, but it was just, that was the way they do it. That was just absolutely perfect.
That was a cool little moment for sure.
I'm gonna jump ahead of everybody who wants to get fake fans in there, but it was Griff, not Caboose.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
No, Caboose was in there, wasn't he?
No, it was not. It was Griff.
Was
It was Griff. Yeah,
dodge
man,
that
he
landmine.
Yeah.
Fake fans
Tom.
still
Thank you,
untouched
Tom.
here.
Thank you, Tom. I thought Caboose was. I thought it was like 4 of them. I thought it was
No,
Sarge,
they showed
Griff,
Ninja.
Caboose, and
Yeah, Ninja came in.
Ninja was there.
Which I don't I don't blame you for thinking that Ninja was Caboose.
Yeah. Wow.
wow.
Tom, round us out here. What is your final announcement you need to talk about from the Game Awards?
Very quickly, so we got a little quick teaser trailer that said Mass Effect will continue. Who cares? Moving on.
Thank you. Thank you.
It's exciting for people that want the original trio or whatever
I guess,
back, right?
But then
So
for the
good
same
for them.
reason that Mike just already talked about with Dragon Age, it's like, oh, what do we know about BioWare right now?
Right.
Like the entire thing, like, oh great, well there's a new Mass Effect. Who cares? Andromeda was so great. I can't wait to go back into that universe now.
I'm gonna
did we skip
counter
over
this
you,
and say
Vince?
this is one of my favorite things that has happened, because it just threw the internet into a giant cluster F, and nobody knows how to react to it.
Yeah, not something any of us are really excited about, but it is exciting that they are continuing the original story potentially. I'm excited for people that are excited. I don't think it's going to grab me, especially knowing that I never played the original trilogy, and they're just going to continue that story potentially. But good for all of you. Good for you. Hope you enjoy it in 5 years or 6 or 7 years when it finally comes out. Vince, I skipped you. I'm sorry. And I definitely want to talk about this really quick. What is that final announcement you have?
final one was It Takes Two was revealed by Joseph Fares.
Joseph Fares,
I
yeah.
think it's Joseph. Yeah.
I can't pronounce names. I apologize. But anyway, the description of this game is bring your favorite co-op partner. It's together step into the shoes of May and Cody. As a couple is going through a divorce through unknown means, their minds are transported into two dolls which their daughter, Rose, made to represent them. Now they must reluctantly find a way to get back into their bodies, a quest which takes them through the most wild, unexpected, and fantastical journey imaginable. And the game releases on March 26th of 2021.
Not far away at all.
Not
It's like
far
a
away.
romantic comedy. How often do you get romantic comedies in video games?
And
You
it
don't.
looks, the humor seems to be on point too. Like
Oh,
it was
yeah.
very,
Oh, yeah.
like even Danielle was into that. So I'm definitely gonna be grabbing it, especially because just like with what was the other one they had?
A Way Out.
A Way Out. Just
Yeah.
like with that, you'll get a free copy to give to a friend, a partner. So-
Yeah, I'm with Max Sandwich in the chat. That was one of my favorite trailers of the entire show. That was a really great reveal. I was
Well, that
surprised because A Way
probably-
Out did nothing for me. I was not interested in that game at all, but this one has my attention.
If there's trailer of the show, I think it goes to It Takes Two. That was the most fun, like interesting trailer that had gameplay, which is always one of my top criteria for best trailer. Is it has to have gameplay, and
I can actually believe that this game will come out in March. Like I can believe that.
I can believe that this game actually exists, and it's not just somebody's pipe dream.
Right.
Speaking
That
of
is
pipe dreams.
Yes. That wraps up the Game Awards. Really great show this year. Kudos to Jeff Keighley and everybody that made it work in this disastrous year that is 2020. I hope that they don't see a downtick next year. I'm seeing a lot of like negativity, like, oh, this wasn't as good as previous years. The announcements weren't as good. But like, you got to remember what happened this year, like all the delays. Like there's a lot that probably could have been at the show that wasn't because of COVID. So I hope he doesn't see a downtick in viewership next year as a result of that. I hope we continue to see growth for the Game Awards. It is really important to the industry, and Jeff Keighley's doing a very important thing to legitimize further this medium and what it means, right? So
With E3 going by the wayside, absolutely.
yeah, definitely.